Okay.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to John Lewis Invictus Academy's Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the Go Team, please identify yourself when you speak. I'm pleased to call this meeting of the John Lewis Invictus Academy Go Team to order at 6:07 p.m. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Oh, sorry about that. Good evening, Mr. Ramon Garner, Principal.
Present.
Ms. Taisha Laster,
Present.
Ms. Kimberly Pruitt. Okay. Ms. Helen Sims. All right. Ms. Hines, Lanisa Hines. I am Andrea Leslie, I'm present. Ms. Cabrisha Rump.
Present.
All right. Ms. Rejoice Jones.
Present.
Ms. Deborah Edelson.
Present.
And Ms. Brescia Kirkpatrick.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, this team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. Ms. Andrea Leslie, is there a quorum present?
There is, we have at least 50% of the members present today.
Okay.
And please note, Ms. Hines is here. She just logged in.
Okay, thank you.
So no quorum?
Yes, we have met quorum.
Okay, so we're gonna proceed to action items, the next page. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you and copies are here. Are there any changes to the agenda? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Can I have a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 So the secretary can record your vote. All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, please say abstain. There are none. All right. We will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections that need to be made? Okay. Okay, so may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
I motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes.
Awesome. Can a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor? Okay, all opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Please say abstain. All right. Our first action is approval of mission and vision statement. So go
All
to
right.
that.
I'll dive back in. If I could share my screen. Let me share. Can I have sharing rights, please?
You have them.
Okay, thank you. Wait a minute. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. So again, this is just the, we had gone through a process early on, maybe 2 meetings ago, that was guided by our district. And so this was the proposed mission that kind of drafted based on the questions that the district had in place. I thought that it was important to include, our core values, which reside within the acronym of pride, perseverance, respect, integrity, discipline, and excellence. And then at the very end, our mission will be or should be that every one of our students is well prepared to perform at their individual best. I think I broke it down by saying their individual best because students come at varying levels. And what we want to do is be able to build them up to be the very best that they can be individually, which is, speaks to differentiation. And so, again, the proposed mission would be through a caring culture of equity and pride, perseverance, respect, integrity, discipline, and excellence. Every student will be well prepared to perform at their individual best. Ms. Jones, turn it back over. Any thoughts, any feedback on this?
I like the included the district's stance as far as equity and also the school's perseverance, respect, integrity, and discipline.
Okay.
I preferred the word intentional over caring.
Through
An intentional culture of equity.
okay. Intentional culture.
Yeah, I like to hear, I like that too. What do you think, Principal Garner? Caring versus intentional? Because we can be caring intentionally. Like intentional kind of is like the overarching type of culture, and within that could be a caring one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that through a intentional culture of care, of equity. And yeah.
Oh, but I see where maybe through an intentional culture of caring, equity, and pride. Caring, equity, and pride.
An intentional culture of
Of
equity.
care, equity, and pride.
Yeah. So we just change out caring for intentional. Yes.
But we can still put caring in there.
So, Ms. Jones, let me hear what your proposal to it, so I'm clear. What would you like? What would you like for us to say?
I thought what I was hearing, Ms. Kirkpatrick, was through an intentional culture of caring, equity, and pride.
Intentional culture. Okay. All right, I'll make those edits. And then after that, what would be?
Well, does anyone else have any?
Do I need to pull it back up?
Any abstentions to adding intentional to our mission? All right, it seems like it's a go.
All right. So through an intentional culture of caring and pride. Got it.
I think equity is like still a powerful word to keep in there though.
Care, equity, and pride.
Caring, equity, and pride. Okay.
I don't know, is caring, where are my English majors? Is caring, should it be care or caring? Is it in balance with
Okay.
only one
Through an
gender?
intentional,
Culture of care, equity,
okay,
pride.
yeah. We could have, yeah, I think that's the better route. Of care,
I know
equity,
you
and
guys are
pride.
doing those for me
Yeah.
too. I got it.
Go on, Ms. Kirkpatrick.
Okay. Care, equity, and pride. So I will. So I'm good now to share our mission with the staff. We're locked in. All right, great. Good.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve this item?
Motion to approve.
Awesome. And a second?
Second.
Now,
Any
was that the mission statement?
Yes, ma'am.
So what about the vision statement?
We'd have to come back and revisit. We didn't finish that out, but I will bring a copy, a proposed copy to our next meeting of the vision.
Thanks for catching that.
Okay.
Okay. So that action item has been approved, and we will, Ms. Leslie, we will note that we will discuss the vision statement, and that's correct. We can move that to the next action item, correct? I think I'm asking.
Ms. Jacoby, could you chime in on that as far as the mission statement is like the overarching statement?
The mission statement is more of like what you're going to do, and the vision.
How?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me make sure but yes, you could table it for a future meeting.
Miss Leslie, can we put that down? Sorry.
I'm sorry, vision statement is like is focusing on where you want to go, like for tomorrow. And
Yeah.
mission statement is on today and what you're doing to do it. So the mission is how, the mission is how and now, and the vision is more of like a why and tomorrow.
Yeah. I like to think of it like a vehicle. The vision is
Mhm.
like the car that takes you there to the destination. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome. We will now move to discussion items on our agenda. The first discussion item is strategic priorities alignment with budget.
All right. So we spoke again in the previous meeting. I'll pull the budget template up in just a second about what our strategic priorities will be. Again, we have 3 of them. They are climate culture, quality of teaching, and literacy. Those are our 3 strategic initiatives. And I gave some examples of what we're doing for each of those and the work that we will continue to do moving forward in those areas. I spoke just briefly about, for our culture, it is celebrations, celebrating our staff, celebrating our students at every progress report through the Pride Awards and through the Royal Lion Awards. It is the Friday shout outs that we do with our staff. It is also the monthly meals that the staff receives. And so it is just, again, ensuring that everybody in our school feels appreciated and celebrated for everything, for the hard work that they're doing. So we have been able to keep that work going even in a pandemic. With the teachers just now returning, we did one big meal for the month of January. For the month of February, we did some sweet treats for Valentine's Day last week. And then we'll continue that work once a month. Around quality of teaching, we've done a whole lot. We have a really strong instructional team led by our assistant principal, Mrs. Lamont, and our 4 instructional coaches, along with our technology instructional coach, Ms. Bright. And so, a lot of that work has been centered around a lot of professional developments that take place each Wednesday, centered around the gradual release model. Our teachers have been trained on the I do phase of gradual release, precise learning targets, exit tickets, independent practice. Last week we did DDI, data-driven instruction, and tomorrow teachers will start working on reteaching plans. So we really want our teachers to be well versed in when we give assessments. We're not just giving them just to give them, but they are to inform, what we're doing and how we're doing it. We have to get to the point to where we're really looking at the data every day, looking at those exit tickets every day and making a pivot or an adjustment within our instruction daily to close gaps. But it's step by step. Right now, we do have common formative and summative assessments that our teachers have in the All-in Learning platform, and that really breaks the data down. And what's really big about it, and where the shift has to go and the mindset changes are, if all of our kids or a bulk of our kids are performing well, then that is something as a teacher, that's a teacher move that we need to make, because that means that the students are getting it, right? So we're going through that process. For next year, we will continue that work. We are looking to partner with CT3, which is a company that does real-time teacher coaching. So, we're looking to make a big investment. When I say quality of teaching, a big investment in our instructional coaches, so that they are well-versed in coaching cycles to do individual coaching with our teachers. We're also looking to get our STEM program off the ground, starting with interdisciplinary lessons. But again, that is a process. So we look to spend a lot of time this summer really getting that plan in place. Ms. Hines sent me a really detailed plan a few weeks back, maybe last week or week before. So we'll have to carve out some time to get with our district and really put a clear plan in place for how we train our teachers on interdisciplinary lessons, so that it doesn't feel like more work added to their plate. We also, around quality of teaching, with CT3, we'll be doing NNN, which is no nonsense nurturer. The entire staff will get trained on that next year during pre-planning. And that will be our behavior management system. What I really like about CT3 is that it gives us all a common language that everybody in the school uses. When we say, what an exit ticket is, everybody knows what an exit ticket is, including the students, right? And so that's important to be that clear around our systems and structures. And then for literacy, again, we're going to dedicate the first 45 minutes of every school day to stopping and using the IXL program for reading. So every student, and what I like about IXL is that it's a program that gives the students a diagnostic test, and then it prescribes lessons and programs for them to meet them at their individual. So when we talk about individual best, it prescribes programs to meet them where they are individually. And what we'll do is celebrate as kids improve and they do the lessons and move to the next levels. We'll stop and celebrate that. So yeah, that's how we're addressing each of those values. Is it time for me to pull up the budget, or is it this time now, Ms. Jones?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. I'm really happy that there will be some training around how to use data and tickets effectively, because I think it's the most powerful thing, but it also leaves teachers feeling discouraged when the admin is saying, use the data, use the exit tickets, but don't ever train them on how to do that. So I just wanted to say that was good. But yeah, if no one else has anything to say, we can move on to the budget. Does anyone have anything to kind of add or speak about the strategic priorities? Awesome. Well, yep. Let's go to the budget template.
All right. Let me see. Just do it like this again. All right, did it change over?
Yeah.
All right, so I will swing back. Let me just do this. So as you guys see, John Lewis, we have we're projected to have about 893 students next year, which this is a conservative budget. I asked to have a conservative budget. Right now, we have about 950 students. As it stands, we're budgeting on like I said, a conservative side. And if we get more students, then of course, more funding will come. But we earn about $10,442,966. $10,442,966. And you can just see how that is, broken down in this template. We get additional earnings for being a signature school, which is STEM, turnaround school, Title I school. So you can see the different pots of money that are allocated to our school. And so it's important that we're good stewards of the funding, because we do have funding to back the programming that we want to do. And so it's really, when it comes to, not certain ways you can spend these funds, and everybody, maybe you guys know this or maybe not, but these are not funds that we can do for like celebrations, but these are funds for instructional uses and staffing. And so we have the resources to be able to make some of the shifts and pivots that we want to make. I do want to show you. Let me see.
Can I ask you a question, Principal Garner?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I come out of the nonprofit background, and our dollars are very restricted. So I don't know how restricted your dollars are. So for instance, if it says transportation, does it have to be used for transportation, or you can't use anything else? Or can these dollars kind of move to different categories?
They can move to different categories. What we do is try to look at what we did last year and start there. So however much funding we use for transportation, of course, we try to do the same thing for this year. But the short of it is, yes, we can slide them around within the different categories.
I also have just one quick question for the school improvement grant. Why is that 0? Is there some type of benchmark that we have to cross before we can receive funding from that area?
You said school improvement grant?
Yeah, it's right under if you go down a little bit.
Okay.
Additional earnings, Title I, school improvement.
48.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure to answer your question, but I know that, I don't know if that would be some additional earnings or if that's all of, a part of what we get for Title I. Not 1,000% sure on that, but I'll have to get.
I was going to ask you if that was SIG funds, but you're getting ready to research it anyway. So
yeah. School improvement. Yeah. Okay. SIG funds, which is a grant the state used to give. I think SIG has ended. I think my last school was actually a part of the last group of the SIG grant.
okay.
That's what that is or not, but I'll find out. I'm not
Now,
sure.
Mr. Garner, I noticed as far as special education allocation, which I know comes from a separate pot. Can you go back up? It looks like they're only projecting 165 students for next year under special education.
And so we have about 200 special education students now. So what'll happen is once we do FTE next year and we get a hard count, if those numbers go up, then we earn additional funding.
Okay, yeah, because we have well over 200 now, don't we?
It's right around 200. When I spoke with Miss Stokes, it's right around 200 kids. I don't think it's much over that, which is a lot. You think about 950 kids, 200 of them are special education. So that's a large percentage. But again, as the numbers go up, they will add the additional funding to our budget.
If I may, Principal Garner,
Yes.
also look at how much Well, those are your projections for next year, but how large is your like 8th grade class right now? So it may be that the kids entering in 6th grade, which is a little bit smaller class,
Mhm.
because they follow these cohorts. So that number, what's in the building in 2019, 2021 may not match 2021, 2022, because you're losing all your 8th graders. And you see what I'm saying? The cohorts change. So
I do, but
Yeah.
I mean, to that point though, they sent us, like they've already rolled over
mhm.
kids for next year, and it's already over 900 students that's actually rolling over
Yeah.
within
So-
the upcoming.
And also with special education, this is a supplement weight because the allocations for special ed are embargoed's the wrong word, but like if schools are assigned 5 special ed teachers, then Principal Garner can't move those around. Those 5 special ed teachers are his special ed teacher. Well, those positions are his positions. I should word it that way. So.
Right. And special education, like she says, is a totally different beast. We don't have as much control. Those funds don't come from our budgets from the district, so you don't have as much control. Like if I wanted to add an additional special education lead teacher, I can't. I have to get permission to do that.
Yeah, is there any way to allocate that? Because even like last year's budget, how, money went to other places that didn't have the same need as John Lewis. And it just seems as though the demographics that we're serving, we need more resources for that. And since that is the special needs is something that we can't specifically control, it doesn't seem as though it's being allocated in a way that just makes really a lot of sense. But I don't know, I guess.
Well, I guess special ed is also a part of, are they a part of the, I guess, allocations for other, for example, the allocation for low income students and things like that?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Those students, the numbers, are they included in other areas also of funding?
I thought it was separate.
Special education funding. If I hear your question correctly, you're saying, are the special education funds tied to
Other subgroups, like are they counted in instruction, or are they counted in like other areas outside of special education?
I'm not totally sure. What I do know is, like I think Ms. Jacoby said, when they allocate, I have 12 interrelated teachers. Those teachers are paid for from a separate funding source, and they have a formula that they use. So if they say John Lewis has 165 or we end up with 200, there's a formula that they use and say, you have this many special education students, you earn this many special education classes. And it's up to, myself, Ms. Stokes, our scheduling team, to make sure that we are scheduling and using all of the resources that we have been given. So we are on 7 special education paraprofessionals. And I know one of the things we're doing was that we were trying to have like a special education certified teacher in every content area, which you didn't necessarily have to have, but that you could supplement some of that with a paraprofessional, especially like in a science or social studies class. So it's just a lot of that cleaning up that we've had to do, because you could say that you need more than you may really need. So it's really doing the very best with the resources that have been provided. And let me just say this, for our school and for our district, like I think the funding for us is at an optimal level. I've come from schools that have been in situations similar to John Lewis, and the funding sources aren't there. I think what we have to do is make sure But what I have to do is make sure that the funds that we do have are used for our students, right? Used to take care of our students, used to take care of our staff. And so that's where my head space is and planning. What I want to show you guys now is kind of
Principal Gardner, I can't answer that question for them. So every
Okay.
student that walks into the door at John Lewis counts as a student first. So you get that base amount. If you could go back to that allocation tab, then for every characteristic that student fits, they get that extra weight. So if you have a student walk in the door at John Lewis, you get the weight for one student. Then you could have, if that student is in 6th grade in special ed and is impoverished and also speaks a foreign language, then John Lewis would get all of those weights. Where the difference comes in for those special ed teachers and some of those special ed supports, as Principal Gardner said, he doesn't have to come up with those teacher salaries out of this budget because of federal law with individuals with disabilities and Education Act. There are very specific federal mandates as to how that has to be staffed. So that's why when it comes to special ed and some of these other programs, positions are allocated to the school. But when you're talking more in that regular education realm, just your math teachers, your English teachers, that kind of thing, then Principal Gardner and his team have more flexibility on how they're staffing it out of this allocation budget. Does that help explain that? I mean, and that's part of the reason why that special ed weight may look so low, but that special ed weight doesn't have to cover the salaries.
Okay.
On top of it. It's for some of those extras that the students and the program needs.
So does your fundamental data here come from the district or from your own projections?
this comes from the district.
It does. So the number of students and all that is from the district. Okay. So you can't change it in essence.
No. They send this to me and then and then all of the staff, which is the biggest portion of it. And then whatever is left, then myself and my team have to allocate and say, this is how we're going to use it. So that's a great segue, Deborah, into like the turnaround funds. And so you see, we have a turnaround math specialist, a turnaround reading specialist. We have two turnaround counselors, turnaround social worker. So all of those come out of those funds. And so then what's left out of that is what I get to say, okay, we're going to use this 50,000. So when I was talking about CT3, moving this money to be earmarked to go towards what we want to pay them to come in and help us out. Moved $100,000 here because I want to bring all of the teachers back a week early to prep for the year so that we have time to do a lot of the training and things of that nature that we want to do. So we got to pay people for their time. So we want to bring teachers back a week early, pay them $1,000 stipend. That is attractive enough to get hopefully everybody to come back or the majority of people to come back. And let's go to work and make sure that we are prepared for next year. And that's kind of how the process works. The salaries come out, and then what's left, you get to say, which programming you want to bring in. If you want to add additional staff, then you have the flexibility to be able to do that. Just have to justify what they're doing and get results. The last thing I want to show you is just a breakdown of where our money, where our funding is going. And you can see 69% of it is instruction. That's staff, that's supplies, materials. 8% is pupil services. 9% is improvement of instructional services. 11% is school administration. Maintenance. And yeah, that's that $10 million. We have to have a zero budget when we turn this in, but in a nutshell, that's what we have. You have any other questions about our overall budget?
So our charge is to make sure that the budget is in line with the strategic mission that we have all agreed upon.
Right. Which is that quality, that climate culture, quality of instruction, and literacy. And so I wanted to go down again, that turnaround funding. So when you were saying those, when you say quality of instruction, CT3, money, allocated for them. When we say quality of instruction, bringing staff back, money to the side for that. Now the climate and culture piece, I can spend none of those funds. Those funds are restricted as it relates to celebrations. You can't spend any of that money on celebrations. So that has to be through donations, like companies like Deborah's, and when we're in the school building, fundraisers and things of that nature. And then when we say literacy, we have a turnaround reading specialist. We also have a turnaround math specialist. So just giving you a breakdown of how those funds are used towards what our strategic priorities are. And if it's not clear, I'll go back over it, but are there any clarifying questions about how the money has been broken down? The bulk of it, 69%, is on instruction. And then there's other things that go into it. When we say, Ms. Kirkpatrick and I sit down, we say materials and supplies. You gotta have paper, you gotta have money for copy machines when they break down, you have to have money for field trips. You have to set money aside for equipment, computers, devices, and anything else that may arise. But those things don't have anything to do with like the quality of teaching, the quality of instruction, what we're doing around that, bringing in this company to help us. We have specialists in those areas, literacy specialists. We have to purchase the program already. And like I said, equipment and software for students.
So as far as the literacy piece, the first 45 minutes of instruction will be geared towards the IXL reading for the fall.
Already, yep.
Okay. I think that's a great move because I think it will improve the overall growth of all of the students. And it being the first thing in the morning, so it'll be, I guess, like an extended learning period for everyone, for all the students.
Yeah, at the next meeting, I'll bring a copy of the schedule. We've already been working on that. But yes, essentially what it'll be is we'll get all of the kids into school. They'll go to their home rooms and they'll get on IXL. We'll get on IXL the first 45 minutes and then we'll rotate throughout the day from there. So some students have elective classes after that. Some kids will, start their other core classes. But I thought it was important that we do a transition right after that 45 minutes so that, I'm not in, Ms. Laster's class for 45 minutes plus another hour, right? So we break that up so that they have a homeroom, they're doing those lessons, and then we do a transition. But I think that will bode well for us as well. And the primary reason is because, again, it's personalized. So it's not a one size fits all, but it's personalized to what I need. So I take an assessment, see where I am, and then I have lessons that's individualized, that's personalized for me, and not kind of like a one size fits all. So I've seen it work in other schools, but I think with that structure alone and some of the other things that we're doing, we should see an increase in our CCRPI score.
Yeah, I hope that we tie something some type of something tied maybe to the lunch hour. The students who've shown the most growth over a period of time can receive some type of trophy, or even if it's just a certificate, so that they get that motivation going, and we highlight them
Yep.
to keep them interested in that.
Yep. That's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We got to make it a big deal when they move up a learning level, or they move up. And we even have some kids who are doing it right now, because we use it on those asynchronous days. That's what kids should be doing, is iReady or Gallopade or iExcel in science, and iReady in math as well. And so when some of the kids have gone from a 3rd grade level to a 4th grade level, like, that's big, that's huge. So we have to make that a big deal. I just can't wait till I get all of the kids here so we can do some of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
All right, I know we're still excited to keep talking, but it's 6:48, and if we want to finish, we have to
thank you for that.
approve the motion for the budget. So I'm gonna, can I have a motion to approve the budget that Mr. Garner just showed? All in favor, say aye.
I motion to approve the budget as presented.
Awesome. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions, please say abstain. Awesome. We are going to move right along to the principal's report, information items, I'm sorry. First is the principal's report on face-to-face learning preparation.
Yeah, so today was our first day. It's like, man, what else can happen? We had a half day, 2-hour delay. A 2-hour delay today, of course, due to inclement weather. But I would say overall, smooth day for us. We had 70, we only had 70 of our 240 students to show up, but I think it was still a great opportunity for us to test our systems and our structures. And so kids were able to get into the building quickly. We were able to give kids uniforms who weren't able to have them. We were able to get them their breakfast and their lunches. They were able to get to their learning spaces. And, it's a very structured environment, but also a very, caring environment. We were able to run through, our school day. And for all intents and purposes, I was able to walk around and see some kids and talk to, my 6th graders. I was asking all of them, what's your graduation rate? What's your graduation year? What year are you due to graduate? So really just wanted to plant those seeds in all of our kids, minds, as the end goal for why you're going to school right now. And, so overall, smooth day, smooth dismissal. We got a lot of good feedback for that, but it's one day. Thursday will be another test. We'll have hopefully all 240 of our kids who are slated to come. And we will continue to run the structures that are in place that we have right now, to really serve our kids and serve the community, and make sure that quality of teaching does not fall by the side. We're blessed at this school enough to be able to have a large staff that we can do some different things and really keep our teachers freed up to teach, all while making sure our students have everything that they need. And so with partnerships, again, I can't say with the Grove Park Foundation enough. They've given us a total of 250 plus another 70, 310 devices that we've been able to get in the hands of our kids. Like, that's major. And so, our kids don't have to worry about anything, when they get to school, which is the most important thing, that they are comfortable, that they are fed well, that they have everything that they need to be successful. It's all we can ask for. And now we just gotta teach them. So I don't want to go down. Look, I want Ms. Jones to have to shut me up again, but I will say that our plan was pretty. And let me be quiet. I mean, we have staff members who are here. So Ms. Laster, Ms. Hines, Ms. Rumpf, you guys were here. Ms. Bright. What do you guys think?
I think the day definitely ran very smoothly. When the kids came in, they were a little scared, I know, for the most part. And it was just great to see them because some of the students I actually teach online, I've never seen their faces before. And so, they would come to me and say, "Oh, I'm in your class." And I said, "What's your pod number? That's the class you got to go to." So just being able to see them in person was really great. And they were excited to be here. And I asked them, I said, "Well, who's coming back on Thursday?" And they all said, "I'm coming back." And I said, "Okay, well, that's great." And to know that it wasn't a force on the parent, they wanted to be there. So it wasn't, "Oh, my mom made me come." So that's a great thing.
Yeah. Ms. Hines, any feedback? Ms. Bright, Ms. Laster, anything?
I think okay. Nobody? Okay, I'll go. I think it went well. The only thing that I really had a problem with is them going to sleep in there. Cause like, I know they get a little bored. So, you have to try to keep them up. So I was thinking like, if they can like play some music, like not no, like the little music or whatever. And so they can stay woke. Throughout the day, you can just play it on the mic a little bit. The little music, I don't even know what kind of music, like jazz or something. Just to keep them woke because they sitting in one spot all day and they going to sleep. And I'm like, you gotta get up, you gotta get up. And they was like, it's cold in here and it's boring, so that's the only problem I had was a couple of students, they was asleep.
Okay.
So
Definitely make sure we check the temperatures. And I know you're in the lab, you're in the computer lab. So I know some teachers would in the classrooms, they have the smart boards. So they were able to do that. And I know that lunch period is the time when they're not in class. So maybe that lunch period and that study hall period at the end of the day when they should be completing or can be completing their assignments for the day.
right, okay, so for lunch, I had asked if they can like play a game on their phone or something while they eating lunch, so they wouldn't just be sitting there, and they told me it was okay. But I know you said this morning that you didn't want no phones out, so.
I think it's, teacher discretion. What I don't want is, and I've asked all of the kids to power their phone, like you can have your phone, but power it off during the instructional time, because what I know is that it could be a distraction. But during the lunchtime, when they have the whole hour to, of that time, then I'm fine with that. But I know also phones can lead to a lot of unnecessary issues in the school as you get to texting or you get to using emojis, and it could cause unnecessary problems. And so that's kind of where that rule came from. So we just want to monitor that. We just don't want anything embarrassing coming out of our school and want to control everything we can control. And so sometimes the phones can be a distraction and can get us going in a negative direction. So that's why I have that.
Yeah, I completely understand that part because when they asked me, I was like, don't record nothing. Like, don't record me. You're going to play your little Candy Crush, go ahead, until your lunch come or whatever. But as far as like everything else, they got on it, got right back off and got back in class. So, I mean, you would have that child that would just, test you or whatever, but I didn't have that problem today. So maybe because everybody went there, but I mean still. So I don't know. And then, yes, it is cold in my room. So,
You gotta let us know that right away. We can get the temperature
I
adjusted.
mean, you stay by Family Dollar, son, you can give me like a little heater. Cause I be cold, like it
Do
was
one
cold.
better than that. I can have Mr. Miyagi to turn the heat up in your room specifically.
Okay,
So
please, cause
absolutely. I will. I'll make sure they get that adjusted and get the temperature turned up for you. Yep. Just remind me on Thursday.
okay.
All right.
I was gonna ask, can we ask that the kids bring like an extra jacket? Because I really believe that the CDC guidelines want the temperature to stay low just to keep the spread. Because if it's in hot temperatures, like diseases just have a more, so it may be whatever y'all do, but just know, like, I know it's a reason why it should probably be colder around this time, but we have 2 minutes.
That's all I had. Yeah, that's all I had.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to remind everyone of the next meeting, which is scheduled for March 16th at 6 p.m. And I will post the previous meeting minutes and send you a copy of these tentative meeting minutes. And we will get together as far as the agenda for our next meeting. Or we can discuss that now if there are any specific items. I know we still have to talk about the mission statement or the vision statement. Which one?
Vision.
The vision.
Vision.
Statement.
Yes, ma'am.
So we will continue on with the vision statement at our next meeting.
And you'll also need an action item for final approval of the budget.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So what else do we have to, I'm sorry, what else do we need to do with the budget? Do I need to bring anything else or what else is there?
No, what happens very rarely is sometimes, so the structure of this is you have now effectively become the advocate for John Lewis Invictus for this budget because your Go team has said, yes, we agree that this is how we think our funds should be spent. So when you go off to the staffing conference, you're like, no, this is what my community said we needed and why.
Okay.
Every once in a while, because you've been around Georgia education long enough, you know that budget season is not just budget season for APS, but also for the legislature, for the tax commissioner, all of that. So sometimes things between this feedback session and your staffing conference, something could have come up and they could tell you, no, we have to change this because of that. So we just want to make sure that the Go team knows what the actual final budget
Got it.
is. So there shouldn't be any changes, and it's quite likely you're going to come back and say, nope, it's all good. This is what it is, and we just need that final sign off. But just in case something has to be shifted, the Go team needs to be apprised of it after the staffing conference.
Got it.
Just
Like they came back last year and said, we're taking 75,000 away. So,
well, yeah, but you know, the state took away $1 billion from education
right.
and a lot of money from a lot of other things. So, but for reasons like that, we just want to make sure that all the Go team members know where they sit, where the budget sits after your staffing conference.
All right, I'm clear. Thank you.
Okay, we have reached the end of our agenda. Are there any additional business? Is there any additional business to discuss at this time? All right, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? You guys want to stay?
So motion to adjourn.
Okay, a second.
I second that motion.
All in favor, please raise your hand. You have to raise your hand, okay. All opposed, please raise your hand. Any abstentions, please raise your hand. All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much. You guys have a beautiful week.
Thank you.
So much, everybody. See you later. Thank you again.
Bye.
All right.